IoT security, risks, threats, and mitigation. Imagine your smart home system is hacked, and suddenly, someone has full access to your security cameras, thermostat, and even your door locks. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, it's happening more often than you think. In fact, cybercriminals are exploiting these very devices to launch massive attacks, steal personal data, and even hold entire companies hostage. But don't worry, today we're going to break down the basics of IoT security, how these vulnerabilities are exploited, and, most importantly, how you can protect yourself and your devices from the growing threat. Stay tuned, because this could save your privacy and security. Today, we're diving into the Internet of Things, or IoT, a technology that is becoming more prevalent in everyday life, from smart homes and healthcare systems to industrial automation. IoT has brought about incredible benefits, but with those benefits come significant security challenges. In this video, we will explore the basics of IoT, highlight the vulnerabilities within this technology, discuss how cybercriminals exploit these weaknesses, and most importantly, provide you with actionable steps to mitigate these risks. So let's get started. Problems and historical weaknesses of IoT. IoT devices are everywhere today. They range from simple things like smart thermostats and connected light bulbs to complex industrial sensors and security cameras. While they have revolutionized our lives, they also come with certain problems. Security weaknesses in early IoT devices. Many IoT devices were created with convenience in mind, but not necessarily with security. Historically, these devices often shipped with default usernames and passwords that were rarely changed by end users. For example, many cameras, home routers, and even smart appliances came with default credentials like admin and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This made them easy targets for hackers. In 2016, a massive botnet attack called the Mirai botnet used millions of compromised IoT devices, including routers and cameras, to flood DNS provider DIN with traffic, knocking down major websites like Twitter, Netflix, and Spotify. The Mirai botnet exploited weak default passwords in IoT devices to create one of the largest DDoS attacks in history. Lack of updates and patches. Many IoT devices don't receive regular security updates or patches, meaning that once a vulnerability is discovered, attackers can exploit these devices for years without fear of remediation. A common vulnerability in many IoT devices was the heartbleed bug, which existed for years in certain versions of OpenSSL, an encryption software used in IoT devices. Once the bug was discovered, many devices had no path for immediate patching. Insufficient encryption. Many IoT devices send data over the air without strong encryption, leaving sensitive information exposed. Some devices, such as older smart home cameras, might send video feeds over the network without encrypting them, making it possible for attackers to intercept and view live footage. Researchers have demonstrated how it's possible to sniff the unencrypted data from IoT devices like baby monitors and home security cameras, allowing anyone with the right tools to view or listen in on private conversations or watch video feeds in real time. Threat landscape. How threat actors exploit IoT. The Internet of Things is not only a game changer for convenience, but also a goldmine for malicious actors. Let's explore how cybercriminals are taking advantage of IoT vulnerabilities. Botnets and DDoS attacks. As mentioned, IoT devices are often hijacked and used in botnets to carry out distributed denial of service, DDoS attacks. The Mirai botnet was a classic example of how IoT devices can be exploited for cybercriminal activity. By using millions of insecure IoT devices, attackers can overwhelm and disrupt the targeted server or service. In 2018, the Reaper botnet used IoT devices, including IP cameras and routers, to create a DDoS attack infrastructure that was used for a variety of criminal purposes, including launching attacks on online gaming services and financial platforms. Data harvesting and privacy breaches. IoT devices collect a wide range of personal data, from health metrics and fitness trackers to browsing habits and smart TVs. Threat actors can exploit these data collection methods to harvest sensitive information. Attackers can exploit vulnerabilities in smart home devices to eavesdrop on conversations or track user behavior. In some cases, these breaches are a result of poorly secured APIs or weak encryption protocols. Ransomware and remote control. As IoT devices become more integrated into critical infrastructure, they can become targets for ransomware attacks. Attackers can take control of devices and demand a ransom to restore access. In 2020, a smart factory was targeted by ransomware, locking down industrial machines and IoT systems. The attackers demanded payment in exchange for decrypting the data, leaving the factory paralyzed for days. Common IoT attack vectors. Now let's discuss the most common ways that attackers infiltrate IoT systems. Weak authentication and default passwords. IoT devices often come with default usernames and passwords that are either easily guessable or publicly available in hacker forums. Changing these passwords is often an afterthought for consumers, giving attackers an easy way in. Many older models of security cameras use hard-coded default usernames and passwords, which are easily exploited by attackers. A simple Google search can often return a list of unsecured devices with public-facing IP addresses. Insecure network protocols and APIs. Many IoT devices communicate with cloud servers or other devices using insecure protocols. Unencrypted communication over the network or poorly implemented APIs can leave the devices vulnerable to interception or manipulation. A smart thermostat might send data to a cloud server over an unencrypted HTTP connection, which can be intercepted by attackers and used for malicious purposes, like changing temperature settings or exploiting the device for other attacks. Physical access and hardware-based attacks. Many IoT devices are physically accessible to end users or even attackers. For example, an attacker could gain access to a device and manipulate it physically, or they might use malicious hardware to hijack an IoT system. An attacker could physically tamper with a smart lock to reverse engineer it, or replace the device with a rogue one that allows unauthorized access. Mitigation strategies. How to protect your IoT devices. To mitigate these risks, here are 5 key steps you can take to enhance IoT security. Change default passwords and use strong, unique credentials. Always change default usernames and passwords immediately after setting up any IoT device. Use long, complex passwords or passphrases that are difficult to guess. Instead of using admin and 12345, use a complex passphrase like G7$3FT1 and B9 plus Q for all of your IoT devices. Regular firmware and software updates. Ensure that your devices are receiving security patches and updates. If your device manufacturer offers an update, install it as soon as possible. If you have a smart speaker, keep its firmware updated to protect against newly discovered vulnerabilities. Use two-factor authentication. Where possible, many IoT devices now offer the ability to enable 2FA, adding an extra layer of protection in case an attacker guesses your password. For smart home hubs and cameras, enable 2FA for the web and mobile app access to prevent unauthorized control. Segment your IoT devices from your critical systems. Keep IoT devices on a separate network or subnet, isolating them from critical infrastructure and devices that store sensitive data. Set up a guest Wi-Fi network for your smart thermostat and cameras, separate from the network used for your personal computers and smartphones. Implement intrusion detection systems. Deploy intrusion detection systems to monitor for unusual activity on your IoT network. These systems can alert you to suspicious behavior and help prevent attacks before they escalate. If an IoT device suddenly starts sending an unusually high amount of data to an external server, an IDS could flag this as potentially malicious activity. Securing IoT ecosystems. Best practices and technologies. To ensure the security of an entire IoT ecosystem, you must consider holistic strategies that include device, network, and cloud security. Network monitoring and anomaly detection. Use network monitoring tools that specifically look for abnormal traffic patterns or signs of exploitation. A network monitoring tool could alert you if a device on your network suddenly starts communicating with an IP address in a known malware hosting country. Secure Software Development Lifecycle, SDLC. For manufacturers, Following a secure SDLC is essential. This includes implementing security measures throughout the design, development, and deployment of IoT devices. Manufacturers should build devices with secure boot processes, signed firmware, and end-to-end encryption by default. Thoughts. As IoT continues to shape our world, it's essential to understand the security risks associated with these devices. By taking proactive steps to secure your IoT systems, we can ensure they remain a benefit rather than a burden. Remember to change default passwords, update firmware, segment your devices, and stay informed about emerging threats. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more in-depth discussions on cybersecurity. Until next time, stay secure and stay smart.